In this video, I'm going to give you 5 Airbnb tips for hosts. What's up, guys? In this video, I want to share with you guys 5 Airbnb tips for hosts that I wish I would have known when I first started my first property on Airbnb. All right. So tip number 1, do your research. Here's what I mean by that. Do your research before you buy or lease or long-term lease a property with the thoughts of putting out that property on Airbnb. The reason that you want to do your research is you want to see what's the marketplace look like for that place, like for that area that you want, or at least you plan to get a property up on Airbnb. And the reason for that is location is everything. Now, some neighborhoods are definitely greater in terms of, best location, best, like maybe ease of getting to like downtown, like especially if I'm talking about Boston or LA, New York, like all the big cities. So it's important to do your research, number 1, or Airbnb. Like go on Airbnb and start scrolling and see what are the first 10 to 20 listings that show up from a consumer standpoint. So be a consumer first. Like before you are a host, you want to be a consumer. So sign up for an Airbnb account and start doing your research in a couple of cities in your local area, of course, or at least in the area that you want to put up a property for Airbnb. So do your research on Airbnb first. So the first place that you want to do your research is Airbnb. The second that you want to do your research is AirDNA. That's an app that it's specifically for this type of business. And that app is going to give you some reports and it's going to allow you to do some really in-depth research on what's the potential earning for, a property that you want to try to put up for Airbnb. If you're trying to get a 1-bedroom place versus a 3-bedroom with 2 baths, it's important to do your research before and don't just jump in. So start as a consumer, go on Airbnb and start looking for properties to book in the cities that you want to host. All right. Number 1, do it on Airbnb. Number 2, do it on airdna.com. And I'll make sure that I'll put the links in the description below for you guys to make sure to check it out. Number 2 is the moment you're done with the research, you want to go to step 2. So step 2 is use great furniture. Now, when I say great furniture, I don't necessarily mean expensive furniture. I mean furniture that looks great with the type of, with the type of paint, with the type of color that the house brings. And you want to make sure that you stand out. So again, going back to your research, start scrolling to the pictures that you see with the listings and see what gets your attention and start writing them down. Make sure you can make a sheet, you can make an Excel sheet, you can make whatever app you want to use. Asana. I use Asana every time when I do my research, and I make sure that I list all the things in there. But great furniture will grab attention and it'll help you stand out on the marketplace. So again, going back to your research and see what sticks out to you, like why you stopped on that and you didn't stop on the rest. Go as a consumer, but have the mindset of the host, because when you start doing that, it's going to be so much easier for you to actually understand that concept. So great furniture doesn't mean expensive furniture. It means furniture that really, catches the attention of the consumer, especially from a listing standpoint. All right. Tip number 3, photography or professional photography. So make sure you take professional photos of your listing. So, once you did your research, you put up your property, you brought great furniture in. Now is the time to take great photos. I cannot stress this enough. The moment that I started looking to the Airbnb app and through AirDNA, well, AirDNA doesn't show you pictures of the furniture inside. It's going to be Airbnb that will give you that information. But I've seen a lot of amateurs. Like, you can get photographers from Yelp or Thumbtack.com or a bunch of other places, or even on Google, or you can even post on your Facebook wall and ask for recommendations. Photographers will charge you anywhere between $70 to $150 to $200 whatever, depending how many bedrooms you got, how many bathrooms, and all that stuff. But you do not want to be cheap with photos because those are the ones that will stick out. Again, everything goes back to the research. When you go back to the research and you scroll to the app and see what gets your attention, I guarantee that it's going to be the picture because it's going to stand out from the rest of the crowd. Number 4, don't compete on price. Marian, what do you mean? Is it Airbnb, just whoever gets the property on a cheaper price is going to win? No. It's the property that gets the most attention. So again, if you know how to optimize your title, description, and all that to show up in the searches, and then not just like the views are not necessarily the most important thing. It's the amount of people that take a look at your property and then they book or save the property from the app. This tip right here, it's worth it more than $10,000. The reason for that is you'll see a lot of, and I don't have a course on Airbnb, but it's a lot of people that will give you advice on how to rank your property, but they won't tell you the secret. So it's important that the conversion rate is the most important. So the 2 types of conversions, right, is how many people actually are able to see your listing when they search for that. And number 2 is how many people are actually booking from the people that are seeing. Because if your listing is optimized for searches, but Airbnb realizes that, oh crap, this property got 1,000 views this month, but nobody bought, like nobody converted. Well, something's wrong with it. Let's push it back in the, it's almost like, where is the easiest way to hide a dead body? Well, it's on page 2 of Google because nobody gets on page 2. It's the same thing on Airbnb. Nobody gets on page 2 on Airbnb, if that's even a thing, because you have to scroll like all the way down to really see, the bottom listings. So make sure you keep an eye out for that, because it doesn't matter how well you optimize the listing if people are not converting. So don't compete on price, make an offer out of it, right? Like focus on creating almost an experience bundled in an offer. Make sure you offer some extra things that your competitor listings are not offering, right? Make sure you add some things in there. I'm not saying that you should be doing breakfast every morning, but make sure you list a few amenities that other people don't have and just focus on getting them in there. Add a PS4 maybe, add a pool table if possible, add a ping pong table, add anything that's different. Like if you realize that all the properties, like recently, our newest acquisition is, and I'm not saying that you'll be doing this like in the next week or 2 or a month or whatever, but for example, we did a research, and in Boston, it's the first casino that has been, launched in the city after I don't know how many years of fighting with authorities and stuff. And then we looked at the cities around that, and we realized that it was just 1%, so 1 out of 100 properties that were up listed for Airbnb that had a pool. And that was mind-blowing to us. And then, of course, we went hunting. So, and then our property, it's going to be the 2%. So the 2% now, it's going to be the property on Airbnb that has a pool in a pretty wide area. So don't compete on price, compete on the offer. Make sure you bundle up a great offer and then list them all. List, hey, we offer you water and chocolate and shampoo and towels and all, like add a bunch of things that even though you may think they're common sense, they're not common sense for everybody. So make sure you list them all up, and you can even add, like this is my marketing knowledge coming up in here, you can even add the value dollar amount to those, and just make sure that at the end of those, you in the description, you list them all out for people to actually see, like, oh crap, like even though this listing is charging more, they offer so much more. Like people are all in. And then again, at that price, at that offer, you're going to select the audience. Like people that you don't want in your property, those people will just weed themselves out right away. So 4 and 5 kind of work hand in hand. And this is one that really worked very well for us. Use gifts. What do I mean by that? Well, gifts. Anything, like little things that will grab attention to your guest. Everything that you can leave at the place, small little gifts, go to the dollar store and just order some things. It can be anything. People will appreciate a gift all day long. So I cannot stress this enough. This helped a lot with reviews. And of course, everything that I mentioned in here, like the fact that we got great furniture, helped the photos be even greater because it was great. Because of the fact that we did the research, now we are able to charge 40% more than our competitors in the listing, right? The compete on price, we make sure that our property had a lot of amenities listed in there. Use gifts. A lot of people, review the property with 5 stars after that. So make sure you do that, because the moment you do it, it's going to stick out and people will appreciate that. And guys, if you love this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments, and don't go anywhere. Start watching the next video coming up right here, what I actually put together a complete tutorial on how you can actually start listing your property on Airbnb. So don't go anywhere, and I'll see you in the next video.